What's going on, Reds? Welcome back to another episode of Liverpool Latest. I'm your host, Matt, and if you are new here, I implore you, if you enjoy the video, leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, and most importantly, please subscribe to never miss an upload. So, what has been going on the last couple of days? We finally made a big deal at the end of the January transfer window. And it looks to me that to many this is quite an important sighting. So I'm going to kind of dive in a little bit why I think the Jeremy Jacquet deal is very important, at least for us, for a couple of different reasons. Clearly, the price tag should give you some form of an idea of why it was so important for us. I mean, $60 million is not peanuts after all. Uh, it's peanuts to those who have hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions. But for someone like us, it's certainly not peanuts. So, someone getting paid that much money, or a organization getting paid that much money, should be an indicator as to the quality of player we have actually gained. I mean, let's be honest, it's the second most expensive defender in club history. It's a 5-year deal plus an option, and of course, he's a France youth captain at every level, and he's a starter in the League One at the age of 20, which is absolutely insane. Liverpool also see him as a long-term Van Dijk successor because when you get somebody at that age, obviously, not only is he a potential Konate successor, he's someone that can learn from Van Dijk, play with him for the rest of his duration here at Liverpool, and realistically, he could also be the successor to him as well if we were able to sign another center back in the coming months, if not coming years. So it's someone who, as of right now, fits Slot's build-up plus the dual heavy center back profile he's been looking for. Now, whether or not this was a good idea to sign him, because let's be honest, many of us still feel Slot's future here at Liverpool is a little bit up in the air, but we'll just have to see what is happening with that. So the fact that they are trying to build Arne Slot's team with potentially this being his last year is a little bit nuts to me. But the most important thing to me here is the fact that we beat not only Chelsea, but United was also in the running to sign Jacquet as well. And it seems like he had been being tracked by Chelsea long term, and United had tried to do a late hijack of him as well, but clearly preferred Liverpool as a preference of where to play. It also makes sense why Chelsea was snubbed, and I kind of touched on this briefly yesterday, but he had no guaranteed starter role. I mean, if he's a starter at 20 years old already, but he has no guaranteed role clarity for a team, why sign there? I mean, clearly Liverpool made the most sense, if you ask me. They had overcrowded center back depth, and to some, perhaps an unclear tactical identity. And as of right now, Liverpool offer him not only a defined pathway, but a bit more of a stable system. Definitely Champions League football, to say the least. And a manager known for improving defenders, which is hilarious to think about if you see how everything has played out on the pitch. So it seems to me that people will use this signing as a way to make excuses for Liverpool in failing to act throughout much of the month up until the last 2 days, and people will say, "Oh, Liverpool chose certainty over chaos," and as a pseudo agent of chaos at times, I don't fully agree with this take because I think they should have made more moves. I'm not saying they had to throw the whole summer, payout like they did this past summer, but at least another signing would have been a little bit more impactful, in my opinion. So I think while Jacquet is a great signing for us, I am not going to sit here and say this was what we needed because we needed a little bit more. I think it was a good start, certainly a pretty solid finish, but it led to much ado of nothing for the better part of the month of January. So some will rate it pretty high this transfer window just for this signing. I still won't. I stand by my 4.5, 5 out of 10 ranking. But perhaps this will be a signing that ages quite well for us. So, and it's someone that is he's young, has a bright future. I just hope that which slot shipping out all of our young guys over the course of the last year or so, I hope he knows how to develop teams or how to develop young players, because Lord knows I have seen coaches fail to do that, and these young hot prospects fail to meet expectations because, well, let's be honest, they are under inferior coaching. Something I want to touch on, and not that I give Jamie Carragher much credit on anything nowadays, but let's think about it. He did say some stuff recently that makes a little bit of sense. Only because you really think about it, it seems like the Jacquet deal points in the direction of Konate, and it points away from him. Well, actually, it points in the direction and also points away from him, and I'll tell you what I mean by that in a second. Points towards him in the sense where now we look at Konate and what's going to happen with him and his contract. Points away from him in the sense where it's pretty much almost a done deal that Konate will not be on this team come the summer, which at this point would not be a shock to anybody. So I think the fact that they acquired a right-sided center back, ball dominant, aerially strong, and certainly an aggressive front foot defender, means to tell me that we've basically signed the other French version of Konate. So it looks to me that all fingers point in the direction of a summer exit for Ibu, which is a bummer. So it's not something I necessarily agree with Carragher on a lot. If I agree with anything he says over the last several months, but this is certainly one that I certainly agree with, as well as a couple of other things. Carragher mentioned that they needed an immediate starter next to Van Dijk, and they need young succession options. Now, obviously, Jacquet was one. Leone, when he eventually gets healthy, will be another. So now we have a little bit more depth in the center back position. So the idea of someone to, or the idea of having to start someone to play is going to be a very big difference because they have to get used to the system in some way, shape, and form. Well, actually, excuse me, I'm wrong about that because I forgot that technically his deal does not actually start until the end of the season anyway. So, in any sense, they would need to start him sooner rather than later going into the following season. Please excuse my mistake on that. Carragher also mentions Mark Gahey, because obviously Mark Gahey was our plan A, and clearly that plan failed. We had probably a multitude of plan B, plan C, plan D, and we landed on Jeremy Jacquet, which is not going to say that's a bad thing, but goes to show that maybe our priorities were a little bit off, or maybe the price tags were not where we wanted them to be. So, as it stands right now, we could possibly have Van Dijk, Jacquet, Leone, and a new center back signing in the summer if Liverpool chooses to do that. So, everything Carragher says, I more or less agree with to some extent, and not something I do typically often nowadays, but because I think he's a bit of a fool as of late. But big points he's making, if you ask me. Speaking of big, we just made a great signing in the sense of set pieces. Also, you read the caption underneath me here. It's from Slot's favorite team, PSG, Paris Saint-Germain. or Paris Saint Germain. I, you can't write this shit, bro. You can't write this any better. Slot is obsessed with PSG, confirmed so much to the point that they signed their youth set piece coach, Bafode Diakhaby. I'm sorry if I butchered that name, brother. That's insane. But you know what? An absolutely awesome move. I'll tell you why. Because he's already been uh, known for developing great set piece tactics when it comes to younger, U16 to U18 players. Uh, Absolutely great pathway for academy players to learn and get to the first team. And it raises the academy standards. It's a big deal. They actually just made an account, Liverpool Football, for the academy on Twitter. I don't call it X. That doesn't exist. They called it on. They made an account on Twitter, and I have not seen a definite post about this. But if this is in fact true, this would be an absolutely fantastic signing for us. Memeable as fuck, yes, but fantastic in the sense that now we have PSG Academy pedigree, and we have a way for the younger players to learn proper set piece techniques, which clearly was not being done at the moment in time because they fired our set piece coach, and which was already rough. Our set pieces were already rough, so hopefully, Mr. Diakhaby is going to be a big star player and help the philosophy of what set pieces should be. So maybe we can pull out set pieces like Arsenal, so we can dominate the league like they have been in that respect. So this could possibly pay off. Maybe not immediately, but certainly in the next 2 to 4 years. Give it some time. I'll touch on it certainly for sure. But solid. Very solid. Plus, it'll also help with the center back depth because it'll give the center backs ways to, create chances via set piece. So, absolutely awesome news, if you ask me, despite how memeable it actually is. Last but certainly not least, I saw something that I kind of laughed at, but I wanted to read into. And as I did, I was like, I'm going to touch on this for Liverpool Latest. It seems like Liverpool blocking the Inter Milan deal for Curtis Jones, which all of us were up in arms about in some capacity. It seems like if we had allowed Jones to go to Inter, it would have created a domino effect of other players signing from Inter. As Nottingham Forest was apparently another team that was looking at one of their players, and because we blocked Curtis Jones from going there or blocked them from inquiring about Jones, that essentially allowed Inter to say, we're not going to sell anybody to Nottingham Forest now. So basically, Curtis Jones completely screwed over Nottingham Forest's and created a domino effect and screwed over Nottingham Forest's transfer plans, which is absolutely hysterical to think about. So, and I keep making this indication that Curtis Jones is going to be gone sooner rather than later. But what I did not know is that he has 18 months left on his contract, which is insane considering the amount of conversation that's been going on right now about it. So, a lot of people are going up in arms about how we were going to lose him, but it seems like right now, he might go over the summer, but it's not like contractually obligated that he has to go and he's going to run out and leave on a free. So, not bad, but I still think it's very very funny. The fact that they were trying to get Fratesi, Nottingham Forest anyway, and were essentially blocked because of Liverpool. Is it entirely true? Not entirely sure, but I still think it's a little bit of a laughable story to talk about, considering just how late the talk about Curtis Jones leaving for Inter Milan was in the transfer window. So, goes to show that you know, Liverpool, I guess, run the football world. So much so that smaller or not well, maybe not smaller clubs, but smaller clubs are getting blocked from trying to get better because that's just the type of international pull that we have. But and I know I'm kind of like simplifying it. Really, the optics are just incredibly messy. But at its core, as far as the squad logic and what Curtis Jones means for the team right now, completely fantastic move that they didn't sell him or transfer him over there. So great move by Liverpool. Questionable that it was brought up, and hilarious that apparently it was a little bit of a cock block of sorts for Nottingham Forest, who were also inquiring about Inter's players. So that's all I have for today's Liverpool Latest. I appreciate the fact that you're here. Leave a like if you enjoy the video. Comment down below with some of your thoughts. And as always, if you're new here, subscribe, because when you join the Liverpool Latest family, you, my friend, will never walk alone. Have a nice day. I'll see you guys on the next one.